Hello, friends, and welcome to our streaming services. If you're joining us on Facebook or YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to get notifications when we have new videos. If you're with us on Zoom, welcome. Say hello in the chat. We would love to say hello back and meet you. If this is your first time here, again, welcome, welcome, welcome. Go ahead and head over to our guest book at oakcliffuu.org/guest. Today's sermon is Reparations and the Church with UUCOC VP Renée Brill. Speaking of Renée, we are week 3 into widening the circle of concern, but don't worry, it is not too late if you want to join. It is a 22-week course planned, so we're still early in, and if 22 weeks sounds like a lot, I know. Believe me, I know. When I first heard, I'm like, but I felt this is important work. I should be there, absolutely. And I very strongly believe in it. I just was like, oh, the commitment. But now that I've done it for a couple of weeks, it's great. There's a lot of soul searching. There's a lot of depth to it. I swear you could have a whole meeting over just like tiny little sections. It is really good work, and it's really good conversations, and I recommend it very, very highly. I cannot wait to get even more into it, and it's about application too. So how do we take these principles, learn from them, dig deep within ourselves, and then apply them to our church to make it better? And it so far is really wonderful. We have a great group. And so if you would like to join us in this very important, very wonderful work, there is no homework. It's just show up on Sundays and we get together and review the materials and then discuss them. And it really is really great. If you enjoy talkback, the really deep talkbacks, I think that you will enjoy this too. So if you would like to join our fun little group, fun but work, there's a balance there. Email Renee at vice-president@oakcliffuu.org. I hope to see you there. All right. So the original plan was to reopen and do in-gathering on September 26th, but as you know, things have changed a lot in the world since that plan was put into place. So the board will be getting together today to discuss reopening. Their meeting is at 3 o'clock. So if you'd like to add your opinion or just kind of listen into where they are with things at the moment, you are welcome to join the meeting. They will also be discussing our search for a new contract minister. And I know a lot of you have been really excited about that. So if you'd like to jump in, the link is in the e-blast and also on our website, possibly even in TalkBack. Maybe I'll go put that in there after this. All right, make sure, as always, to check the e-blast every single week. It has all of your news, information, meetings, message from the president. There's always just every single week, all the new goings on at the church. So check that out. There really is just so much good stuff in there. So many updates. You can browse it in just a couple of minutes. And then you are all caught up, not caught up. Scott puts a lot of work into that, and so do several other people. So check it out every week. You can sign up for the e-blast on our website, or Scott put up the link for us. Excellent. All right, it is Sunday, so that means that we have talkback at 11:15. Think about joining. I think today would be a particularly amazing discussion considering the topic. Maybe it'll push you into joining Widening the Circle of Concern with us tonight at 7 o'clock. We have adult RE at 1 o'clock today as well, and every Sunday. And then every Friday, if all of that isn't enough for you, we have UUCOC social hour on Zoom, Fridays at 9 p.m. There are no member anniversaries today, but Scott, why don't you show us a picture of that butterfly? So pretty. As you know, a lot of people, or some very specific people, but a lot of people, I'm thinking Rebecca especially, put in a lot of work into keeping our grounds looking amazing and just absolutely beautiful and tended to and green. If you've never visited our campus, it is gorgeous. It is really, we have big wooded area in the back. It's very, very peaceful and very nice, and I miss it very, very much. But one of the wonderful things is apparently we get these monarch butterflies. So I think that is a fantastic way to end announcements. So to everybody out there, happy Sunday.
Good morning, and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Oak Cliff. Thank you for having the curiosity and the courage to join us. Thank you, whoever you are, whatever spiritual tradition, gender, age, race, sexual orientation, or background you may bring to our community. We hope you will find here comfort, connection, challenge, respect, and above all, love.
May the light we now kindle inspire us to use our powers to heal and not to harm, to help and not to hinder, to bless and not to curse, to serve you, spirit of love, compassion, and forgiveness.
Que esta luz que ahora encendemos nos inspire a usar nuestros dones y poderes para sanar y no para herir, para ayudar y no para impedir, para bendecir y no para maldecir, para servirte a ti, espíritu de amor, compasión y perdón.
This essential work of justice and liberation for all by Renée Brill McNatt. By no means are we Unitarian Universalists perfect. We often fail as much as we succeed. Yet even when we have broken our vows 1,000 times, we return to this essential work of justice and liberation for all. We do the work best when we remember what church is and what it is not. Church is not a place to hide. It is not the place to get away from the world. It is not a place where we get to pretend that the lives we live and our particular situations are not terribly complex, often confusing, and sometimes depressing. Church is the place where we stand with one another, look the world in the eye, attempt to see clearly, and gather strength to face what we see with courage and joy.
Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Open your ears to the song. Open your ears to the song. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Open your hearts, everyone. Open your hearts, everyone. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Don't be afraid of some change. Don't be afraid of some change. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in.
Please join your voice to mine in affirming our congregation's spiritual covenant. Because we love one another, we honor each individual's spiritual journey. We celebrate life's abundance and service to each other, our community, and the world. We connect with each other in love, respect, and acceptance. Thus do we covenant together.
And now in Spanish. Porque nos amamos uno al otro, honramos el viaje espiritual de cada individuo. Celebramos la abundancia de la vida en el servicio a entre sí, nuestra comunidad y el mundo. Ponemos en contacto a unos con otros en el amor, respeto y excepción, así que hacemos pacto.
In our community, we make time each week to share pieces of our lives with one another. We do this because each person in this community has value. Each person's experience matters. We share our sorrow with one another today, knowing that sorrow comes into each person's life, knowing that together we offer comfort. At this time, we invite you to publicly post your sorrows and prayer requests to the Zoom chat or send those to our Facebook Messenger.
When I breathe in peace. When I breathe out love. When I breathe in peace. When I breathe out love. When I breathe in peace. When I breathe out love. When I breathe in peace. When I breathe out love. When I breathe in peace. When I breathe out love. When I breathe in peace. When I breathe out love.
We also share our joys with one another, knowing that joy comes into all of our lives, knowing that joy calls unto joy, knowing that together our voices can rise in a chorus of celebration. Today, we share the joy of this moment, this community, present and awake together, deep calling unto deep, joy calling unto joy, light calling unto light. Please share your joys publicly by post in the Zoom chat or send those to our Facebook Messenger or speak those aloud.
Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stems of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free.
Good morning. This morning, I would like to talk to you about reparations as a spiritual practice and a practice that we can take up looking for spiritual development and looking to experience our values more fully in the world. So let's talk about what reparations isn't, I think. A lot of the times when we talk about harm that has been done to someone and how we make amends or how we heal, we talk about things like forgiveness and atonement and penance. And that's not really what we're talking about here, because forgiveness and penance are actually too restrictive and too small to encompass all that reparation seeks to do. When we talk about forgiveness, what we normally mean is that we are just releasing our own negative or strong emotions that we feel towards someone who has wronged us, whether or not they deserve it or not. That's not what is being asked for or what is being offered when we talk about reparations. Penance is also not exactly what we're looking for. And we often get confused as white Americans what we mean when we're talking about reparations. We think of it or talk about it most often as a kind of punishment for the wrongs of our ancestors. Often the pushback for reparations says, well, why should I be responsible for the wrongdoing of previous generations? Why should my tax dollars, why should my time, energy, effort go to undoing the wrongs of another? So penance in particular is this idea that we keep confusing reparations with as white Americans. Penance is a kind of self-punishment for wrongs or harm as a way of showing remorse or a way of showing that one does not intend to do such in the future, and you understand what you've done wrong, and you will do your very best to make it not happen again. Again, that's not necessarily what we're talking about here. Penance is about the perpetrator, but reparations aren't really about the perpetrator. Reparations are about the people who have had harm visited upon them. Let's look at some definitions for reparations. We have a basic definition of reparations: the making of amends for wrong or injury done, restoration to a good condition, to make amends, to make better, and to put right. The National Coalition of Blacks for Reparations in America, or NCOBRA, defines reparations as a process of repairing, healing, and restoring a people injured because of their group identity and in violation of their fundamental human rights by governments, corporations, institutions, that's us, a church, and families. These groups that have been injured have the right to obtain from the government, corporation, institution, or family responsible for the injuries that which they need to repair and to heal themselves. In addition to being a demand for justice, it is also a principle of international human rights laws. The anarchist reparations movement says reparations are bigger than a paycheck. It's a saying among those who are seeking reparations, as it requires land return, agency return, power return, the intentional commitment of resources to foster restoration of the affected healthy communities through resource allocation, policy change, and targeted economic opportunities. Reparations takes into account the concept of well-being as meaning health in all areas: spiritual, mental, physical, financial, social, environmental, to create the full horizon of possibilities. There are some steps that are agreed on both by the UN and by NCOBRA that are necessary for reparations. First, there's the cessation assurances and guarantees of non-repetition. This, under international law, says that the person, state, or institution responsible for causing the harm must stop causing harm and ensure that that doesn't happen again in the future. So that's part one. Stop causing harm and make sure that it can't happen again in the future. The second aspect of reparations is restitution. Return what was stolen or what was lost. This can include everything from freedom, recognition of basic humanity, identity, culture, repatriation, livelihood, citizenship, legal standing, wealth, everything that can be returned to the originally harmed party as possible. And for those things that cannot be returned or healed through restitution comes the third step, which is compensation. Money normally, or damages paid to the injured parties that can't be that for issues that can't be solved simply by returning or repairing the property taken in the first place. That can include injuries to someone's mental health, damages for pain and suffering, damages for anxiety, any kind of damage that we're paying intended to remediate or to help someone to heal from pain and suffering. The fourth step, or the fourth category, is satisfaction. Satisfaction, as close as I understand it, is a kind of moral reckoning. The offending party recognizes the damage and the truth of the damage behind what was done, takes culpability, and offers apology for that. This can include apologies for emotional injury, mental suffering, and injury to reputation. And then the fifth aspect of reparations is rehabilitation. Rehabilitation, or to provide all that is necessary to give access to the services needed for medical, psychological, and other rehabilitations for the damage done. Now, how do we look at this as an opportunity for spiritual development? How do we look at this as an opportunity for spiritual growth, for growing in our relationship with one another, for finding new truths about the divine, about community, about love, and about our place in the universe? There are some obvious answers to that. We see this as a spiritual practice specifically because it brings our values into the world. As Unitarian Universalists, we believe in justice, equity, and compassion in human relations. We have a goal of community with peace, liberty, and justice for all. Reparations is the foundation necessary for that. It is the return of all of the sorts of power and resources that have been systematically removed from one group or community. Now, that is our goal. That is our mandate from our faith. As important as any prayer, as important as any song, is the actual physical seeking to build the world that we dream of, to build the community that has justice, equity, and compassion at the very heart of its relationships with one another. There are any number of ways that we can seek to do this work as a church community and as citizens of Texas. There are small and large things that we can do. Everything from making intentional, committed apology for wrongs that have been done in the past, to actually, the start of this is to research all of those wrongs, to find who might have been harmed, to record their stories, and to record the truths that they carry with them about who we are as a people and how we might get to be who we want to be. Everything from repairing our historical records to providing funding for Black liberation theologians in Unitarian Universalist circles, to providing funding and healing opportunities to people of color within our congregations who have experienced the negative effects of white supremacy culture within our own communities. This is the praxis of our faith. It is not enough. It has never been enough to only say beautiful words, to only sing lovely songs, and to only talk about the most reasoned and well thought out ideas. It has never been enough. But what will hopefully get us closer to where we want to be is the actual doing of justice, to take it upon ourselves as our mandate, our call to action, to heal for others and also for ourselves, because we know as white Americans, there are countless ways that we have been asked to be complicit in systems of oppression and suffering. This saying I came across again and again in my research, which is that the midpoint between truth and reconciliation is reparations. Well, if we want reconciliation, if we want real, equitable human relations between knowing the truth about the white supremacy of the United States and our future of beloved community, is the work of reparations to bring us closer to where we need to be. Thank you, Amen, and Ashe.
We'll build a land where we bind up the broken. We'll build a land where the captives go free, where the oil of gladness dissolves all mourning. Oh, we'll build a promised land that can be. Come build a land where sisters and brothers, anointed by God, may then create peace, where justice shall roll down like waters, and peace like an ever-flowing stream. We'll build a land where we bring the good tidings to all the afflicted and all those who mourn, and we'll give them garlands instead of ashes. Oh, we'll build a land where peace is born. Come build a land where sisters and brothers,
Let there be an offering to sustain and strengthen this place which is sacred to so many of us, a community of memory and hope, for we are now the keepers of the dream. To make an offering or your pledge, please go to oakcliffuu.org/donate and follow the links.
To you I give, together we share, and from this we live. De ti yo recibo, a ti te doy, así compartimos y vivimos hoy. To you I give, together we share, and from this we live. De ti yo recibo, a ti te doy, así compartimos y vivimos hoy.
The Unitarian Universalism That Does Not Yet Exist by Natalie Fenimore. Shirley Chisholm was asked why she, a Black woman, was running for president. You don't have a chance. Why are you doing that? And she said, because I am in love with the America that does not yet exist. And that's how Unitarian Universalism is also. I'm in love with the Unitarian Universalism that does not yet exist. But I have to hold both the love for that thing and the love for reality. It does not yet exist. It probably will not exist in my lifetime. I don't think it will in that of my children, but I can't deny my love for it. You know, wanting to be there in that struggle, that's why I'm fighting.
We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
And now in Spanish. Encendimos esta llama, pero no la luz de la verdad, el calor de comunidad o el fuego de nuestro compromiso. Estos los llevamos en el corazón hasta que estemos juntos otra vez.
Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land where I'm bound. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land where I'm bound. There'll be freedom in that land. There'll be freedom in that land. There'll be freedom in that land where I'm bound. There'll be freedom in that land. There'll be freedom in that land. There'll be freedom in that land where I'm bound. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with to that land where I'm bound. Oh, come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go